Welcome back to UICFlames.com. We're here with head men's and women's track coach Jim Knoedel as the Flames prepare for the Horizon League Indoor Championships this weekend in Youngstown, Ohio. Coach, obviously a big weekend ahead. Overall, how do you feel about both teams, how they've progressed during the last 5 weeks during this indoor season?
I've been excited. We've had a lot of good performances. I know that the women's side had 5 school records, so it's been an impressive season for them especially. But Matt Zalewski broke one of the school records. It's probably one of the oldest school records on the books in the 800. So a lot of good progression throughout the season.
Well, I mean, the indoor season's obviously a little bit shorter than the outdoor, and I think it prepares your team for what's coming up beginning in late March. How does the short indoor season prepare a team for what lies ahead?
It is much quicker, and I think that's one of the hard things about the indoor season. It's over. It seems like we just get started and it's over, but I think it's the base for a good season outdoors. And I think if we turn in the performances now, we'll see many, many more as we go along into the outdoor season.
You mentioned the success that your women's teams had, this winter and early on this spring. Talk a little bit about the emergence of Ariel Kirby and Tess Earhart, pair of newcomers that you have on your team that have really made a significant impact, in their first year in the program.
Yeah, Ariel's, I actually had recruited her. She ended up out of high school. She ended up going to another school. But she came here because she always liked me, and it was a good match. She's done a great job. I think actually people were surprised how fast she was in the 400. I knew all along, and I kept telling other teams what a find she was and how good she would be, and she's turned out to be everything I expected. So I was real happy with that. And I know with Tess Earhart, Tess was she's one of those frail little things that you don't think is going to be very tough. Good competitor. She's a tremendous competitor, very hard worker, and that's the reason why she's so good. She pushed herself very hard, and she accomplished stuff indoors already that I didn't expect to see until we got outdoors. So she's been a great addition to the team.
Who else do you see on the women's side having some good impact this weekend at the Horizon Championships?
I think one of the athletes that's really developed throughout the years is Alex Warner. She came out of high school as an average athlete that you wouldn't have picked her in a million years to be someone that's right now she's 1 centimeter, which is 1/4 of an inch from the top of the conference in the weight throw. She's really worked hard in the weight room, showed tremendous development throughout the year. And I think at this point right now, last week I looked, she was ranked 90th in the nation. And I know sometimes it doesn't sound as impressive as it is, but there's a lot of athletes in that field, and I think to be that high in the nation is very good because it's a type of mark that would qualify her for the NCAA regional meet. And then I know Kelly Shue has been the same thing in the pole vault. Kelly's ranked even higher, the top 75 in the nation, and she's showed steady progression. And I think she'll be one that certainly should have a Horizon League title this weekend.
On the men's side, guys like Justin Garth and Matt Zalewski, you mentioned earlier, have really enjoyed pretty solid indoor seasons too. What can you expect out of them and then some of the other guys on the men's side?
Yeah, I know that Matt Zalewski 2 years ago was conference champion at 800 meters. He was a shock to a lot of people, not to me. I always knew he was a very talented, hardworking kid. I think he'll surprise people this weekend. It's hard to say how well he'll do, but I think he'll have a phenomenal time. And I think that he'll certainly improve on his school record this weekend, so that should be nice. And then Justin Garth was a kid that came out of one of the city schools. He was actually a miler. Now he's a sprinter. He's phenomenal in the weight room. When you look at some of the weight room charts, he's the tops of all of them. And when people see him, he's probably about 5'6" and 150 wet. And he does a very good job. A lot of the sprints, he's got phenomenal times. I think he can be one of the top steps of the awards platform, but he's done a great job.